Hey everybody, I'd like to talk about a segment that I had in mind where I talk about future iterations of games and where they can go. So I'd like to start off this initiation talking about Rock Band. Now, this game, as you can see, it's a music genre game where you play in different instruments such as guitar, bass, keyboards, drums, and vocals. Just an experience of being in a rock band and whatnot, even though if you have no skill at all, it makes you feel pretty good at it. So for future iterations, that's kind of a tricky thing. What can companies such as Harmonix, which makes Rock Band, what can they incorporate into future Rock Band titles? Hell, either they have said or fans have stated that what else can they do? There's basically almost nowhere where they can go with it. Well, I like to think not. I've come up with a few notes that I thought would be interesting to include if they do make a Rock Band 4 or other sequels and whatnot. Aside from just getting out more bands out there, like maybe perhaps international bands such as bands from Japan or hell just some from anime even. There's animes such as Back Mongolian Chop Squad and K-On! Where it's basically about a band. And they have great music that's been in the anime. I think there would be a great representation of Japan in there, and it also would open up doors to more music for people to learn. Aside from that, I think it'd be interesting to include a karaoke or some sort of jukebox mode. I've heard of these things before on forums and other rumor mill Google engine searches and whatnot. Karaoke mode, there's something similar to that in the Rock Band 3. You just had to go through a few things, but if they were just to basically set out like right on the, like in a subset on the main menu where you can just you put on a mic and you can just do performance for just people. You can do it just like a karaoke, but it doesn't score you. And you have the Rock Band engine playing out, say, a musical interpretation of that of people rocking out on there. I think that would be cool. Or a jukebox mode where it's just basically play the songs, and it's just like your iTunes player. Or hell, if you could even just plug in a hard drive and play your songs through that, or your iPod or something like that. I think that'd be really interesting. Now this is kind of low on the totem pole here. Another thing that I've heard or that I thought would be great would be music videos from the artists. Say you want to watch an old school, just a Foo Fighters video for Monkey Wrench or for Everlong, or you want to watch a Megadeth Pete Sells with Who's Buying, or for funsies if you want to watch Rick Astley Never Gonna Give You Up. Maybe you just want to press that, just maybe pay a couple of bucks or something, and then you can download it on there, and you can play with the music. And you can play the actual Rock Band with the music video playing behind it, or you can just play it just flat out right there. And I think that would be pretty interesting to have. Now to the meat of this thing, where I think it would be best to improve, possibly of the notion of a three-piece band. Now, the only way you can get a three-piece band is to play a song that has no vocal parts at all. Things like Caprice di Diablo or Pearl Jam's Master/Slave song, where it just has absolutely no vocals whatsoever in it. That's the only way you can get a three-piece band. It would just be guitar, bass, and drums. But I'd like to see if you can play Rush, say like the 2112 or Closer to the Heart or something like that, as a three-piece band. So yeah, you can actually play as if you are in Rush, or if you are in Police, or something like that, just a power trio. I think that would be pretty cool if you can somehow incorporate that in there instead of having to make it look a four-piece, but when you're playing up in front of a crowd for a convention or something like that, it's actually a three-piece. Another thing that I had read in articles beforehand, I think it was for Guitar Hero, was a improvisational notes. Now, you can do some searching, I forget exactly where the article was, but basically what I remember from that is that during sections of a song, there would be invisible gems or notes that would appear, and you could play these and create new sounds and whatnot, but that they were pre-designated sounds. I think that would be pretty cool to include in there. It would, just get people interested in. It would bring a new dynamic and get people interested into playing outside of just the designated charting sections. I don't know why it was scrapped. I think it was hurt because of technical issues or something like that. But that would be a pretty cool thing to incorporate if they do decide to go that way in future titles. Another thing, these are my notes down here. Another thing I'd like to see would be dual guitar parts. Now, I'm not talking like dueling banjos or something like that. I'm talking about bands that have more than one guitarist. Say Megadeth, or again Foo Fighters, or say Deftones on some sections. They have two guitar parts, one as a lead and one as a rhythm, or whatever have you. Now, I'd like to see if you can play as two people playing guitars, but one doing lead, one doing rhythm. That way you can have one person doing a rhythm where it's pretty basic and people can do the rhythm and the vocals at once and not have to worry about is this kind of complicated or not, if they're, because they have to pay attention. If you ever played vocals and guitar at the same time, you either have to know the vocals and the pitch and everything, or you have to know the guitar part, which gets kind of complicated. If you're like paying attention to one, then you miss a note and you got to do it all over again, and you mess up your combo, especially if you're in competition. I've seen some people win with three people bands, but it's really tricky to do that. You have to be a professional gamer invested into it. So anyway, if there was a good dual guitar part, that would be a pretty cool thing. I know Guitar Hero 5 did something like that where you can have like 4 guitarists or 3 drummers or yada yada yada, but it was all the same chart. So if you can have 2 guitars at once but they're different charts, that'd be pretty nice to have. And the last thing I think would be a really cool addition would be bringing the DJ Hero peripheral into it somehow. There's a lot of bands. Again, like I said, the Deftones, they have a DJ in there, and Linkin Park definitely has a DJ. Many new metal bands, and then there's Slipknot and whatnot. They all have a DJ in there, and maybe they could also incorporate some sort of pad, where like a 3-section pad as well as the DJ, where you can just hit that as well as scratch the record, and it would be bringing new sounds and whatnot, which is what new metal provides. It's new soundscapes and new. If you ever listen to say the Deftones or anything like that with your headphones in, and you just listen to the minute sounds, it's rather interesting to see that they bring all these new elements in there that plain metal just doesn't provide. So that's about it. So basically, for future generations, this is just a suggestion. If Harmonix listens, great. Maybe fans have already pointed this out on forums. If not, I guess I'm a pioneer. But anyway, this is hopefully this will take off into other titles and whatnot. But otherwise, I'll see you guys later on the internet.